Now let's look at water soluble pencils with a bit of a touch of something different. So I will start with the Derwent Graphitint, and I'm thinking, let's pick some nice colors. So these are going to be quite different here. The colors are quite muted, so I'll try to pick something. So I have picked 3 colors to try and resemble some of these colors here. So one is Storm, it's kind of this sort of lovely pinky grey color. Another one is Autumn Brown, hopefully somewhere in the region of the terracotta or Venetian red. And then Port is their reddest color. So let's go ahead and start with the Storm. So remember, these are water-soluble graphite pencils, which means there is a mix of pigment and mix of graphite, so that we're still working with the graphite, but it's not 100% graphite, it's got a tint to it. So that's Storm, and then Autumn Brown. So all of the colors are going to be naturally more muted. But the color lay is very intense and quite similar to the Museum Aquarelles. And then we have the Port. Alright. These also seem to crumble quite a bit. Okay, let's introduce water now. So it's got that transparency here with a mix of, like I said, it's a graphite mix with pigment, which it does mix, and you kind of can see it come through in some areas more than others, but they're very, very intense. Some of the colors I could easily compare to their Inktense, just with the addition of graphite, and it's an interesting and unique pencil. So if you love that strength of pigment, you can see how beautifully strong they are. I'll give you a close-up at the end, so don't worry, you'll see everything nice and close. Let's now find out or swatch out the Inktense as the last pencil. So with these pencils, it'd be quite difficult to go through and find very similar colors, but I'll try nonetheless. They're very, very vivid and bright, and this is why I used to love using them. Now my taste for colors has changed. I still like it to be intense pigment wise, but the color palette has definitely is more grown up now. Let's say. Let's see, there's a red ochre, and maybe we do 10. Yeah, let's do those 3. So I have got 10. Okay, back to normal lighting. So I have got 10 here. So it feels not as dry as the first one, but it doesn't feel as creamy. Now, I don't know whether that's because I had these pencils for 10 plus years, but the texture feels slightly different. Dry, that is, on paper. Then we have, let's see, we have got the red oxide. So how are these different to watercolor pencils? These are supposed to be based with ink, which makes them, I guess, more bright. And I also would wonder how that would work in terms of light fastness. Does it mean that they have a pigment or dye in there? Because inks are generally dye-based, but they are also pigment-based inks. So I'll try to read up on that. So at the back of the box it says here, pencil to ink in just one wash. Derwent Inktense combines the vibrancy of ink with subtlety of pencil. Apply rich, deep, dry color, then wash out to create a pure and translucent ink-like effect. Once dry, Inktense becomes permanent. So I didn't know that actually. And can be worked over without affecting the layers of vivid color. Perfect for everything from a delicate line and wash to expressive mixed media. The possibilities are endless. The results stunning. So there's a little picture here. I don't know if that's going to mess up color, but basically you can apparently also work on textiles and fabrics in these Inktense pencil. So watch this, it does really amplify the brightness, but you do still get the line remaining a little bit. So you will, I find that with Inktense you won't be able to get the pencil line of 100% like you could do it with the Museum Aquarelles or even the Derwent Watercolour. The pencil mark still remains slightly, but look at the color intensity. This is truly is like ink. It's stunning. So yeah, I didn't say anything about light fastness there, but the colors are really, really beautiful. So I wish I had colors here to compare sort of the exact colors, but I think it gives you a good idea of how these pencils behave. And let's see, I'll show you one pencil which I think it's very interesting, is the green ochre. I'm always fascinated by it, so just as an addition here. So once it goes dry on, it's you know, it's nice color, it's pretty, but watch what happens once you add water to it. So very similar to what you just experienced here, the intensity. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? So yeah, I hope this helped you to figure out what would be the better pencil for your needs and for your art requirements. And I will give you a little close-up. So first we have the Goldfaber Aqua, Faber Castell, then the Albrecht Dürer, also by Faber Castell. Then we have the Derwent Watercolour Pencils, which actually are better than what I remember them to be in terms of pigment. And then Caran Museum Aquarelle, Derwent Graphitint, and Derwent Inktense. So if you wanted like a light, fast, intense watercolor pencil which has very strong pigment, to me Caran Museum Aquarelle just does it. Their color palette is stunning. You can get loads of beautiful colors which you wouldn't be able to get in other brands. Then in terms of weaker colors, if you prefer weaker colors for whatever reason. Goldfaber Aqua Faber Castell. That could be a good pencil. And some of the pencils from the Derwent watercolor pencils, they're also on that sort of slightly weaker side sometimes, but not always. It's a bit of a mix there, you can see, with these two colors next to each other. The Albrecht Dürer is a good pencil if you still like to have a bit of texture left in your art from the pencil, yet you like to work with water as well. And if you wanted to experiment with crazy brightness, colors and sort of unique blends of graphite and pigments, you have the Graphitint by Derwent and the Inktense by Derwent, which, like I said, I'm not entirely sure what the light fastness on these is, but if you wanted to work with a lot of punchy color, you would be able to do that. When it comes to punchy color, as you can see, you can get loads of punchy colors in the Museum Aquarelle as well, and their color palette is also very, very beautiful and quite unique. So, as I just finished filming, I realized there's one more pencil which I didn't swatch, and it's the Aqua Monolith. It's by Cretacolor, and it's supposed to be also a watercolor pencil, but it's woodless, so all of this is pigment in here, and it is the color Tan Light, Fleischfarbe Hell. So these are also German, I take it, and I'll just swatch it out here. I don't remember what it's like. I haven't used it in a rather long time. It feels drier on the paper, but it's an interesting pencil. It feels good to hold it. It has a slightly colder feel to it, and it's a bit heavier. And then aesthetically as well, I think I like that the entire pencil is in that color. So let's see what we can get out of it with a bit of water. Yeah, not too impressed by that at all. It's very, not much pigment in there. So once you introduce water, although it does take off all of the pencil marks, just all of them, but it kind of feels very weak in the sense of pigment compared to all the previous ones we just did. So I thought you might want to do that. Again, this is just one color. I don't know how their darker colors work, but maybe a pencil you haven't seen yet and you'd like to find out a bit more about it. So I thought I'll just include it. So I hope that helped you somewhat, and thanks for watching. See you soon.